Is the planned Star Trek sitcom really happening? Or was it a bluff by Alex Kurtzman that may have already backfired? Welcome to SciTrek Daily, a daily dose of TV, movie, news and rumours. So at New York Comic Con, we were all a bit surprised, me in particular, that Alex Kurtzman proudly announced that they were working on a Star Trek sitcom. This would be a 30-minute situation comedy set within the Star Trek universe. Now, I was particularly surprised by that because I've been speaking to a few people over at Skydance, and they've been telling me that actually they're not particularly happy with the creative direction of Star Trek, and that even though no decision has actually been made, they are seriously considering ending the relationship between Paramount and Secret Hideout, basically removing Secret Hideout from Star Trek. Now, that contract decision needs to be made in the next 18 months or so. Really needs to be made as soon as Skydance get into power, because they're only going to have about 12 months from that point to make a decision and to negotiate it, etc. So I was surprised, to say the least, to hear that Secret Hideout and Paramount were announcing a new show, a new project. So how did Secret Hideout get this greenlit by Paramount? Well, it turns out they didn't. This has not been greenlit by Paramount. I'm being told by several sources now that actually this is a project that was announced as being in development and that it has not been greenlit. It has not got a budget. It has not got anything else. This is a show that has not been agreed. And again, talking to the sources that I speak to, Skydance don't mind too much that Starfleet Academy was given a second season. They weren't informed, but they probably would have agreed it because, for business reasons and stuff, it spreads the budget out over 2 seasons. If you're spending a lot of money setting up a first season of a show like Starfleet Academy, building all those sets and stuff, it just makes sense to at least give it the 2-season run, give it a try sort of thing. So even though they didn't give it the thumbs up, they probably would have done. But what I'm being told basically is that Secret Hideout are really pushing to get as much stuff into production as possible because, and by the way, I'm walking on a beach, so if I'm a bit wobbly, that's why. They're trying to get as much stuff into production as humanly possible because their current contract basically allows for anything that's in pre-production to continue even once their contract runs out. And actually their current contract does mean that they cannot start anything new from next summer 2025, without the explicit permission of Paramount. So they couldn't even put anything in development and try to sell it somewhere else, which actually within their contract they're kind of allowed to do. Paramount can block them from doing things, but the current contract basically means that Paramount Plus have first dibs on anything Star Trek. But then if the production company can sell the show to somebody else, and they are allowed to, basically they don't have to get Paramount's permission, but Paramount can veto things. So them selling it, Prodigy season 2 over to Netflix, that was a Secret Hideout negotiation, but it was done with a nod and a wink from Paramount Plus after they decided not to run with it. So basically Secret Hideout and Alex Kurtzman are trying to get as much things into production as possible. But why does this, or how does this relate to this sitcom project? Well, basically it seems that Alex Kurtzman is trying to pull off a fast one. He's basically been told he cannot move forward to Legacy. Skydance have been very clear with Paramount about that. They're to veto it. They are not to move forward to Legacy. So Kurtzman needed to announce something else. And they've had this sitcom idea for a little while. It's basically to replace Lower Decks, but now is being framed as the replacement for Picard as well. Alex Kurtzman seems to think he's a bit of a comedian, and he's actually put himself forward as one of the writers and showrunners for this project. So it's something he really obviously thinks can work. The reason why I say it's a bit of a bluff and may have already backfired, though, is because Skydance, apparently, according to a couple of people I've spoken to, are not only unimpressed by the idea of a Star Trek sitcom, they're damn right confused by the idea. and really don't think that this extension of the business model that Star Trek have been running for a little while of trying to do a Star Trek show for everyone, you know, they do a different show for different demographics. They're quite proud of the fact that if you don't like one Star Trek, it's fine, there's another one for you, so just watch that instead. And that this extension of that idea and going into a sitcom might be a step too far. So what does that mean for the Star Trek sitcom idea? Well, it is not officially greenlit and won't be until Skydance take full control of Paramount, is what I'm being told. And really, it's probably not likely to be greenlit then. It really would only get greenlit as part of some agreement with Skydance and Secret Hideout on the future of Star Trek. And that's likely not to happen for at least 12 months. I think, personally, Alex Kurtzman was hoping that there would be such a positive reaction to this sitcom idea that it would almost put pressure on Paramount to greenlight it. There hasn't been the positive reaction, I think, or at least not from the bulk of Star Trek fans, us Trekkies, about this idea. So that makes the idea of a Star Trek sitcom very difficult indeed. And to be honest, I have to say, I think that's a good thing. I've always said I love Lower Decks, and that is a comedy. You could argue it's a situation comedy, an animated situation comedy. You know, it's really, the situation is that it's Star Trek but Lower Decks, and the, you know, like the poor old ensigns who can't catch a break. It worked though for me, and I spoke about this in another video when I'm talking about Lower Decks' future. It worked for me because it's animated, so it's separate from canon in some ways. It's not really Star Trek Prime Universe sort of thing. It's Star Trek animated. It's different. If you, though, then put a situation comedy in live action, it's smack bang Prime canon. Everything that happens on screen is canon. And I just can't see that would work. So, if Skydance really do come up and say, you're having a laugh, Alex, that's not happening, mate, I think that's going to be a good thing. And again, as I told you in the last video, it looks like Skydance see legacy as the future. And from what I'm being told, they want to get back to a Star Trek that Trekkies recognise, like Picard Season 3. I don't see how a sitcom really fits into that plan. But guys, get into the comments, tell me what you think. Is a Star Trek sitcom something you'd have liked? I mean, if it was well written and funny, why not in a way? It just doesn't work for me. But what do you think? Get into the comments. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. It really helps us out. You'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/SciTrek, where most of our videos do premiere first, so you can see it before everyone else. As always, please stay safe, live long and prosper, and I'll see you next time. God, I'm getting out of breath. It's quite hard to walk and talk at the same time and think and avoid all these indentations. Look at this. Big, oh, let's see. Big drop, step, random. How I've not fallen over in this video, I don't know. See you next time.